It was past midnight in the small town of Cold Creek. Most of the streets were empty, the houses dark. But inside a tiny radio station, one man was still awake. A local DJ, working the graveyard shift, his voice drifting through the static. "Good evening, Cold Creek," he said with a tired smile. "You're listening to the last late-night broadcast of the week. If you're awake out there, you're not alone." He leaned back, sipping cold coffee, watching the empty phone lines, waiting for a caller. But no one ever called at this hour. Then, the signal wavered. His headphones filled with faint sirens, low, distant, haunting. At first, he thought it was interference. The town's old emergency system sometimes leaked onto his frequency. But these sirens, they were different. They almost sounded alive. He frowned, tapping the console. The sirens rose and fell, warping into static. Then, a voice whispered through the speakers. "Help me, please, help." The DJ froze. He glanced at the phone lines. Still empty. The sound crackled again, shifting into laughter. And then, the voice repeated his own words back to him. "Good evening, Cold Creek, you're not alone." The DJ ripped off his headphones, his heart racing. "What the hell?" he whispered. But the radio whispered it back. Gathering his courage, he stepped outside to check the transmitter tower. The night air was heavy, the streets covered in fog. Somewhere in the distance, the sirens echoed again, closer now. And then he saw it. A towering silhouette, moving slowly between the trees. Taller than the power lines, its head split into 4 grotesque sirens. Each one twisted and rusted, glowing faintly red. When it turned toward him, the air vibrated. The sirens wailed, blending alarms, screams, and broken voices into one horrific sound. He stumbled back, nearly falling. No, this isn't real," he whispered. But the ground shook with every step the creature took. He bolted back inside the radio station, slamming the door shut. The building rattled as the sirens grew louder, closer. Suddenly, the broadcast equipment powered on by itself. Red lights flickered across the board, and the speakers screamed with unbearable static. Then, his own voice filled the room. But it wasn't live. It was him, screaming. A scream he hadn't given yet. He stared at the microphone, terrified. The sound was a warning, or a prophecy. And then the walls shook, dust raining from the ceiling. The windows shattered. A shadow fell over the studio as the giant loomed above. 4 glowing sirens pointed down at him, blasting noise so loud it shook the floor. He covered his ears, screaming in pain. And the sound system caught it instantly. The speakers echoed his scream back at him, layering it into the endless sirens, until his voice was no longer his own. The final transmission from Cold Creek Radio was not music, not laughter, not words. Just a single scream, stretched and twisted until it was no longer human. And then, silence. Some say if you tune your radio just right, you can still hear it. The last broadcast, the scream beneath the sirens.